for volunteering to be part of the team. I am super excited that we're able to do this for the NHS, and I am looking forward to getting started as soon as the fabric arrives. Now, I'm going to start first of all with the layout of your patterns. Now, what I've done is I figured out the most economical way of using the fabric. What you'll notice on all the patterns, there's a cut times 2 or a cut times 1 or a cut times 4. Now, what I've done with one length of the fabric, you'll all receive a 170 length and an 80 centimetre length. With the 170, what you have to do is fold it in half with the selvages meeting on lengthways, so that is 170 going that way. And with this one, the 80 centimetres just lie it flat, so that's just a single layer, whereas this is a double layer. Reason for that is these all need to be cut out 2 or more times, and these will only need to cut out once per outfit. Now, the most important thing when you're initially placing your patterns is to make sure that on each of the pattern there's an arrow which indicates the direction of the grain line, which needs to be parallel with the side of the fabric here. If it's not parallel with the fabric, it means that the whole pattern piece isn't on the grain. So that's the most important thing initially, as well as just this placement. That's the most important thing initially to look out for. The only ones out of this entire pattern pieces that need to be cut out more than once are the pockets. So you need 4 of each of these patterns here, which is why there's these blank spaces here. This one is very basic. You just cut it there, flip it, and then trace around it again. This one's a wee bit more complicated. This one's the only one that's off the grain, or it's on the grain but in an opposite direction. So once you've traced it off going that way, you're going to flip it and trace it off going that way with that edge in line with the bottom salvage edge here. That's the only one that needs, any kind of flipping in that direction. Now, when you're cutting them out, or when you're initially doing your chalking, what you'll need to also look out for is on all the pattern pieces, there's little notches that have been cut out, if you can see there. And what you'll need to do is mark all these with chalk when you're going round, and when you're cutting out, do a little snip into the fabric where these notches are. This will basically give the seamstresses a really nice clear indication of where the pressed seams are going to go. And yeah, but just make sure that when you are doing your notches that they're no more than 0.5 centimetres in, basically because all of the seam allowances on the rest of the pattern are only 1 centimetre, apart from the pockets, but they're only 1 centimetre, so if you snip in more than 0.5, you're running the risk of it going onto the visible part of the garment once it's sewn, so just be really careful with that. So that's the layout. The only other things to look out for is I've cut these squares out of the pattern pieces. Now these are not to be cut out in the actual fabric. All you need to do with these ones is, again, with your chalk marker, mark out the corners so that on both this side and on the other side. On the fronts, all you need to do is on one side, obviously, because that's only been cut out once, but this has been cut out twice. Mark the corners so that when the seamstresses are going to sew that on, they have a marker as to where that's getting sewn onto. And one last thing is the two facings are up here. They need to be cut out in cotton and interfacing. Now they're the only 2 pieces that need to be cut out in anything other than just the cotton, but that's just another wee thing to look out for when you're cutting out. So yeah, the only things that you'll need for this is weights. I'm just going to use what they called coasters. So just put your weights down to make sure the pattern's lying nice and flat, trace around with your chalk, and then we'll get to cutting. So I will go and draw around it, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, so what I've done is I've chalked out all of the pattern pieces now, so you can see that there's now 2 of the pocket pieces drawn out, and there's 2 of the pocket pieces drawn out up here. The facings have also been drawn out in both the cotton up there and the interfacing, and all of the corners of the pocket placements on the top and the trousers have been marked out as well, along with all the notches. So now once you've done that, just remove all your pattern pieces. And just a wee reminder that obviously you're just going to cut round, but as you're going, just put a tiny wee snip into anywhere that's got a mark for a notch, and that's as good to go. Okay, as you can see, I've got all the pieces cut out. I've notched all of the bits where the notches were, and I've also marked out where the pockets are. Note that I have not cut these out, so that's absolutely essential that those are not cut out, but they're just marked. I am going to flip this pattern piece over and get my pattern back again and mark out on this side of the fabric as well, just so that when we're sewing we've got marked out on both sides of the trouser. The only other thing to watch out for when you're cutting and when you're tracing is at the bottom of the trousers and at the bottom of the sleeve, you'll see there's a 3 centimetre hem added to the bottom. And you can see this is coming in at an angle and then it kicks back out again. Now that kick out is actually quite important because when that gets hemmed, you can see that that then matches the angle there perfectly. If you were to draw that as a straight line continuing down, that would then not match. So that is quite important when you're cutting it out to, you know, bear that in mind. On the top, it's not as important because it comes down at a 90-degree angle anyway, so there's not that angle change at all. Okay, now we're ready to